It's 7 a.m. Your dad's been talking non-stop about 1987 for 20 minutes, talking right over you like you're invisible. That afternoon, your mom swears the cashier shortchanged her $5, even though you saw the correct change, and now she's demanding the manager. By evening, Grandma calls crying. Your uncle suggested she stop driving at night, and she's convinced it's a plot to steal her car and freedom. These look like rudeness, stubbornness, paranoia. Families get frustrated, bite their tongues, visit less, call less. But what if these aren't personality changes at all? Research from Johns Hopkins and Mayo Clinic shows, by age 70, over 60% of seniors develop behaviors that strain relationships, and families almost always mistake them for attitude or stubbornness. They're not. They're early medical warning signs. Misread them, and you lose precious time to help, and sometimes the relationship itself. Older people sometimes say shocking or hurtful things right in front of everyone. They blurt it out at the dinner table, in a store checkout line where strangers can hear, or anywhere, without hesitation, without saying sorry, and often without even noticing how stunned or hurt you look. Take Margaret, who is 73. Last Thanksgiving, she stared straight at her daughter-in-law and said the turkey was dry, the stuffing tasted like cardboard, and she honestly didn't get why anyone acted like the meal was good. The whole room went quiet. Her son tried to laugh it off. Her daughter-in-law slipped into the kitchen and stayed away for 20 minutes. This is the kind of brutal bluntness we're talking about. It's not just occasional honesty. It's a repeating pattern of sharp, cutting comments that really wound people. Family members start dreading visits because of it. But here's the real reason this happens. As we age, the frontal lobe, the part of the brain that handles social manners, self-control, and filtering our thoughts, begins to change and weaken. It's not about losing respect or good manners on purpose. The brain literally loses its ability to catch raw thoughts before they turn into spoken words. Most of the time, the older person doesn't even realize why everyone is pulling away. They don't see the problem. It's not intentional cruelty. It's the brain slowly losing its social filter. And if words can hurt this much, the next behavior damages relationships in a completely different but equally painful way. Every family hits this wall eventually. You watch your loved ones struggle with something that used to be easy, carrying groceries, climbing stairs, managing pills, and you offer help. Instead of a simple thanks, they snap back with anger or defensiveness. It feels like you've insulted them just by showing you care. Take Walter, 78. Last spring, he insisted on climbing a ladder to clean the gutters, even as his daughter stood below pleading with him to hire someone. "I'm not helpless," he said. "I've done this for 50 years. Stop treating me like a kid." 2 rungs from the top, his foot slipped. He broke his hip and spent 3 months recovering. Even after the fall, he still claims he didn't need any help. For decades, they've been the provider, the fixer, the strong one. Their whole sense of self is tied to being independent and capable, never a burden. As age takes away strength, memory, or steadiness, accepting help feels like giving up, like admitting they're no longer themselves. Psychologists call this autonomy preservation, one of the strongest needs in older adults. They're not trying to make your life harder, they're fighting to hold on to who they are. But if refusing help endangers their body, the next behavior puts their finances and sometimes the whole family's security at serious risk. It often begins with little things that seem innocent, reusing paper towels until they disintegrate, washing and reusing plastic bags over and over, refusing to turn on the heat even when the house feels like ice. Then it escalates. You discover cash hidden in books, taped inside drawers, or stuffed in old shoes. They check their bank balance obsessively, 3-4 times a day. They accuse the bank of stealing small amounts, or claim family members are taking money. As the brain ages and cognitive function slips, handling abstract ideas like financial security becomes harder. Money feels like the last thing they can control in a world that's growing chaotic and unpredictable. Research from places like the National Institutes of Health in studies on Alzheimer's shows these sudden shifts, extreme frugality, hiding cash, irrational theft accusations, are often early warning signs of dementia or cognitive decline. The brain is desperately trying to create order and safety. What looks like penny-pinching obsession is usually a brain fighting to hold on to control. And if money turns into a family battleground, the next behavior makes every conversation feel like an exhausting struggle. Imagine a family dinner. Someone starts sharing a story about their week. 3 sentences in, Dad jumps in with his own tale. Mom tries to ask a question, interrupted again. No one finishes a thought. By dessert, everyone else is silent, and he's still talking, unaware he's dominated the conversation for 40 minutes. This is Robert, 71. His kids now skip Sunday dinners with excuses. His wife eats quietly. She's learned it's pointless to speak up. Robert doesn't get why the family feels distant or why conversations feel tense. He isn't trying to dominate or be rude. From his view, he's just joining in. But something deeper is happening. Hearing loss is very common in older adults, affecting about 1/3 over 65 per National Institute on Aging. When you can't hear well, especially in group chatter or background noise, you talk more and listen less. You interrupt because waiting might mean losing your thought entirely. Processing speed slows with age, too. It takes longer to form responses, so people jump into gaps quickly before the moment slips away. Research links frequent interruptions and poor turn-taking to early executive function decline, the brain's control over attention, impulses, and social rules, often tied to aging or mild cognitive changes. The quiet damage is real. Families stops inviting them to events. Calls get shorter. One-on-one time vanishes because it's exhausting. You start noticing it everywhere. At dinner, in the car, every time they move. A grunt when sitting down, a long sigh picking something up, a groan just walking across the room. It's constant, loud, and it grates on everyone nearby. Henry is 74, and he doesn't even realize he's making these noises anymore. His wife pointed it out gently at first, then with frustration. His daughter cringes during restaurant meals because strangers stare. At his grandson's school concert, a loud groan during the standing ovation made parents 2 rows ahead turn around. When confronted, Henry is genuinely confused. He doesn't hear it himself. These aren't dramatic complaints or bids for attention. They're the body's automatic way of narrating real physical effort and discomfort. As we age, muscles weaken, especially core and legs, joints stiffen from arthritis or wear, and simple movements like standing from a low chair or bending demand far more exertion than before. People often hold their breaths to brace and stabilize the spine, then release it with a grunt or groan, a natural reflex for managing strain, backed by physical therapy experts on aging movement. What feels like old people noises is often a sign of underlying pain that's become so normal they stop mentioning it to doctors. These aren't just habits, they're honest signals of a body working harder than it should. And if everyday sounds reveal hidden struggles,